All right, guys, we are walking in right now to the spot I sat this morning. Dad, say hi.
Hi.
We're going over here. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping a little buck walks out so he can get his first buck, but I haven't had a buck walk out for me yet. So it'll happen when it's closer to rut, but it'd be cool for one to walk out tonight for him. It's about 50 degrees. Pretty nice. Feels pretty nice right now, honestly. But we'll see what happens. He might end up shooting a doe. We'll just see if he does or not. But hopefully we're just gonna see some deer, period. And it'll be a good sit this evening. All right, guys, just got seated. Have about 2 hours of shooting light left. So feeder goes off in about 45 minutes or so.
And no deer.
We just got up. Feeder goes off in about 45 minutes. Usually I don't really see much deer until the feeder goes off. So we'll see what this evening brings.
get her?
I don't know. Reload. Reload. Yeah, you got her. She's down. She's down. She's kicking up cotton. All right, guys. Dad has dropped a doe. So this is only his second hunting season, and last season he never had an opportunity to shoot anything, and he didn't sit very much. But this season he was more committed to sitting more, and he shot his first deer ever last weekend in Perry, Florida. It was a doe weekend over there, and a buddy of mine let him come to his property and hunt it because he had a bunch of does coming out. So he got a really nice doe that I'll show a picture of here in a minute, and now we're out here in Quincy area, and for zone D2 and D2 there's new changes. You can take a doe during gun season. So I left it up to him if he wanted to wait for a buck or a doe, and we had 5 does come out and pretty good size, and he chose the one he wanted and made a perfect shot. Probably ran 15 yards, I would guess, and then I wasn't even sure he hit it at first. I thought he did, but I wasn't sure. And then I saw it kick over, and I know where it's at. It's right here out in the cotton field. So we're going to give it a couple minutes and see if anything else comes out, maybe a buck, and then get down and go load that deer up. Dad, how you feeling?
Cold.
How you feeling about the doe?
Feel good.
Yeah? Any
It
jitters?
was, I didn't think the trigger was ever going to pull.
He's like, I'm going to shoot that one.
There, when's this thing going to go off?
I had the camera pointing. I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, I didn't want to bother him and make a bad shot. But I was like, man, we've been sitting here a long time. He hasn't shot yet. I don't understand. But he made a good shot. Good job, Dad.
As far as we know.
No, she's dead. I saw it.
I know, but
Good job.
good shot is where it hits the deer.
It looked like you got it right behind the shoulder, but we'll look at the camera footage too. But he made a good shot. She didn't go 15 yards, and she's out there. So that's a great job. Great job. Second deer of the season for him. I could have shot a doe if I wanted to, but I didn't want to.
I'm going to shoot a boy eventually.
Boy, my goal is 5 good bucks on the season, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to shoot does. But Dad's more about the meat in the freezer versus horns, antlers.
I'm more about shooting what comes out.
So
I've only seen one buck.
yeah, he's only seen 1 buck during
And I
archery.
hit it with the arrow, but it was not a kill shot.
He did during archery. He made a high shot on probably like a 7-point. I don't know which buck it was, but we only had 2 bucks showing up at that property, and one was a high 4 and one was a 7. So I think it's the 7. But he made a high shot, unfortunately, and it didn't die. So, but man, second hunting season, and he's already killed his first 2 deer in the span of a week. Proud of him.
Well, you could have got one too.
Yeah, but still,
If
2
you
deer.
weren't- If
Good
you weren't
job.
so picky.
All right, we're going to sneak out of here in just a minute, go get the truck, load this up, get it to the processor, and it's actually perfect timing because the doe he shot last week, oh, there's a doe coming back out right now on the left, over there, left. The doe he shot last week, the meat's ready to pick up, so.
Is that a doe?
Yeah, it's a doe. So we can pick the meat up while dropping this one off. That's perfect timing. All right, we found her. Big old doe. She's fat. She's been eating good. Man, it was insane. When we got out of the stand, there was a bunch of does to our left that we couldn't see them from the stand. And I pulled my gun up and see if there's any horns. I didn't see any at first, and then there's a really big buck. I think it was this big 8-point I had on camera this morning. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a shot. It's about 150 yards out. I actually had Dad stand in front of me, and I propped on his shoulder. But I couldn't. Buck fever got the best of me. I was shaking so bad. I couldn't get a shot. And Dad's breathing, so he's moving, and oh man. Hopefully that buck comes back. I don't think we scared him. He just kind of walked off, but big buck, man, big buck. But we're gonna go and get this doe loaded up in the truck and get it to the processor. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. hopefully I'm going to have another one up soon of me shooting one of my target bucks. I got a couple really good ones lately coming out on camera. I just unfortunately have not connected yet. But fingers crossed that happens soon. And then next stop in terms of dad is going to be to try to get him on a buck. He shot 2 does, first 2 deer he's ever shot. He's 66 years old, guys, which is crazy. I mean, he did not hunt growing up, and I started to hunt 5 years ago, and he saw how much I was enjoying it, and so he wanted to try it himself. And last season he didn't have any luck. He didn't sit a lot last season, honestly, and he knows that. So he's been devoting a lot more time this season. And it's paying off already. During archery season, he had a opportunity at like a 7 or 8 point. He wasn't sure, but I think it was a 7 point based on what we had on camera. And he made a high shot, hit him in the high shoulder, and unfortunately, he didn't kill the deer. Fortunately, the deer is gonna live. But he did have an opportunity there at his first buck. And then literally a week ago today, he shot his very first deer. It is a doe weekend over in zone C5, C3 in Perry. And I had a buddy that had a ton of does coming out every day. And so we let dad get over there and shoot his first deer. And then here we are a week later, and we're over in Quincy, D2. The rules are a little different over there. You can shoot does season long. And a bunch of them walked out, and I left it up to him. I personally, I'm not going to shoot any does, but I asked him basically what he wanted to do today. And when those does walked out, he wanted to shoot one. So that's what we did. And it was really cool to get it on camera and, to be able to film only his second deer ever, to be able to film that for you guys. So hopefully we'll be able to maybe get his first buck on camera out there. I think this property is going to be really good. I think we're going to get a couple bucks off of it this season. And then fingers crossed, there's a very, very big deer that I'm after, guys. This is the 3rd season I've had him on camera. 2nd season that I've, seen him in daylight. I haven't seen him for a shot opportunity yet, but he's daylighted a couple afternoons. Unfortunately, it's just the days I'm never there. Like Thanksgiving Day, he came through at 5:40, and of course I'm at my parents. We're eating dinner together as a family, and he came out. So with these cold temperatures that we're having, I think that he's definitely gonna be daylighting a little more. And it's peak rut right now, so I'm hoping I'm gonna get a shot opportunity at him very shortly. And it's the kind of buck that he's gonna be getting shoulder mounted. 100% shoulder mounted. This was my first deer ever that I had chasing does. So normally I would never have even shoulder mounted this buck, but it was a memory that I wanted to remember forever. He came in a couple years ago, grunting his head off behind 2 does, and that was the first time I'd ever seen that. And so when I shot him, I knew that I wanted to remember that forever. And of course, you guys know the Captain. That was from a property last year. Unfortunately, I cannot hunt that property anymore. They sold it. But I'm at just massive deer, and the one that I'm after is on par with this. So fingers crossed that it works out, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.